How to provide and receive effective feedback. There are two parts of this mini module: how to provide feedback, and perhaps more importantly, how to receive feedback. As such, we encourage all levels of management and staff to listen to this content. This way, your business can be sure that you are providing a framework for the person delivering the feedback and a framework for the person who is receiving the feedback. At its best, any feedback should be constructive, specific, and engaging. However, it is one of the nuances of your ability to engage with people that the giving of feedback only really exists in the workplace. We rarely, if ever, provide feedback to others outside of the workplace. Yet in any management role, we are expected to hold our staff to account on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. Accordingly, feedback is part and parcel of this role. So we regard feedback as a learned skill, and with all such skills, there is a process to follow, as well as some do's and don'ts that need to be borne in mind. Let's assume you are a manager providing feedback to a staff member who is struggling to embrace a key skill in relation to understanding a customer's needs. So step 1. Give a brief overview of the issue or problem that you have identified. For example, Mary, I've noticed that you seem to be having a few issues when it comes to understanding a customer's needs, specifically in relation to how you ask open questions of the customer to better understand what they are thinking and feeling. Step 2. Display empathy where appropriate to demonstrate that you can understand and appreciate the other person's position. I realise that this can be a difficult skill to pick up, however it's fundamental to what we do in our business. Step 3. Say what you would like to happen and be prepared to give a little if the situation requires it. Mary, what I would like to see is for you to identify some open questions that you can use when next with a customer, and to try out such questions with myself beforehand. You can refer to the learning we went through some weeks ago to assist, if that helps. Step 4. Outline the benefits of your suggestion. The reason for doing this, Mary, is that it will allow you to fully understand the customer and therefore be able to meet all their needs, irrespective of how straightforward or complex they may be. It's a fundamental skill to learn in the development of your career. So if this is a simple example, what are the do's and don'ts when it comes to providing feedback? Do take a degree of responsibility for the way the other person may react once you provide the feedback. Do ensure that you display a degree of empathy. And do take responsibility for helping to resolve the issue. What about the don'ts if you are a manager? Well, don't apportion blame unless it is truly warranted. Avoid using words or phrases such as "you always" or "your fault." Don't ignore your responsibility for the way the person may be feeling as a result of the feedback you provide. Don't place the focus of the feedback on the individual. Focus on the issue that you wish to see the individual improve upon. And finally, don't deny any responsibility as a staff member's manager unless you can be sure that you have provided clear direction, support, training, and coaching. Now, of equal importance, what if you are the person receiving the feedback? What are your responsibilities when it comes to being on the receiving end? Step 1. Recognize that it is difficult to be on the receiving end, but also recognize that the feedback is meant to be constructive, even if the delivery is not as you may expect. John, thanks for the feedback. I didn't realize that was an area I needed to work upon as much as you have indicated. Step 2, and this is critical. Accept that the individual providing the feedback is doing so for a reason. In other words, they believe what they are attempting to communicate to be true, and that the feedback is designed to help you. I can understand why you would think that way, and on reflection, this is an area that I could fine-tune. Step 3. Take responsibility when you are given feedback. Acknowledge the issue and seek further information to allow you to fully understand what's being communicated to you. So, John, what you are saying is that I need to be more focused on asking open questions to allow the customer to open up, much more so in relation to why they're in our store. Is that about right? Step 4. Put in place a plan to do something about it. So, John, what if I study up on some of the opening lines that we learnt from the last course we were on, and at the same time listen to some of my peers who seem to have this skill well in hand? Step 5, make sure you communicate to your manager that you understand what the issue is and why they would feel compelled to provide you with the feedback. Okay, John, if I were to put in place such a plan, would that provide you with the comfort and assurance needed to give me the tick of approval next time you have the chance to observe one of my customer interactions? Now remember that a good manager will position the feedback in the manner we have suggested. This is their responsibility. However, no one is perfect. As a receiver of the feedback, the most important thing to remember is that the manager is well intentioned when it comes to providing the feedback. And your role as a receiver is to see past the way the message is delivered and take ownership of what the message actually is. If the person providing the feedback and the person receiving the feedback are equally well-intentioned, then you have the ideal platform for learning and development. And that is why we suggest that this module be listened to by both managers and staff alike.